All right, Oval fans, hope everyone is doing well. Please take a moment to hit that like button, hit subscribe, click the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out when I post content. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description box below. All right, in this particular video, I'm not going to hold you too long because I did talk about it briefly in the trailer breakdown, but it looks like Laura finally regains consciousness, and she's on the phone making a call. Now, at first glance, you was like, oh man, it must be Priscilla because it's like, I found Jean underneath the bed in the White House in Jason's room. Dun dun dun, finally. But I don't know. Based on certain things that played out, we got a scene where Donald is in his bed, he's on his phone, and he has a, face palm moment. It's like, oh, because later on in the episode, or excuse me, later on in the preview, because I honestly don't know the order of operations of what scenes take place in the trailer compared to the episode, but we do see him eventually pop up at Kyle's place. Him and Dale are in bed together, and then from there, it looks like there's someone who goes into Laura's room in the hospital and pulls the curtain back, pretty much like, okay, whoever this is, most likely Kyle, because Donald usually has other people do his dirty work because he isn't always able to do it himself, hence like he didn't kill Lily. I think he goes over to Kyle's place to let him know what's going on, because you could argue that, well, Jeremy, if Donald was the one that Laura called, then why didn't Donald just call Kyle to let him know what's going on? Well, there are multiple reasons for that. Maybe it wasn't a secure line where he can call Kyle about it. Because, there have been certain times where it's like, hey, we'll talk about this in person, not over the phone. So maybe that's why he went over to Kyle's place personally. Or maybe he called Kyle multiple times, but he never picked up the phone. So he went over there himself to see what was going on and inform him about the whole situation. Yeah, we got to kill Laura. Because remember, at this point, the news story has already went out that Greg was the one who killed himself and Jean. So in this situation, if Laura comes out with the truth, then that's going to blow this entire operation. Kind of like the whole Denise situation. Anybody that knew about that had to go. So I think that unfortunately Kyle's going to go in there and kill Laura. Now, is it Norman? Norm? The guy, the husband? Hopefully he's like asleep, or maybe he's not in the room. Maybe he's in another part of the hospital. Maybe he went to get a bite to eat, go to the restroom. That way, when he gets back, Laura's dead. I'm not saying I hope she dies, but I'd rather the husband not die for nothing because he did nothing. So I think that maybe Laura calls Priscilla and she doesn't answer the phone or something along those lines. But I think that perhaps maybe she does call Priscilla, and then Priscilla tells Sam, and then Donald finds out about it. Because that actually makes a lot of sense. Because look at it this way. The thumbnail for my trailer breakdown had something that I didn't say in the actual video, which was, oh, you got Sam and what's his name? I forget his name. Basically, the chief, or the guy who, every time Barry got locked up, he was the guy that Barry talked to. He was kind of like the head of that police department, the one that Sam owed a lot of favors. Or, no, that guy, or was it Jake? Jake owed Sam a lot of favors or something along those lines, so he always helped him out. So they go to the scene of the crime and they see Jean and Greg's bodies there. So here's what I think might happen. Well, I know that Sam did leave the house after, Priscilla just told him to go downstairs. So maybe Sam decided to go and get Jake, and they went over to the scene of the crime to see what was going on. Like, maybe Laura calls Priscilla calls Sam, and then they look into it, and then maybe from there Sam calls Donald, or perhaps they find out, or Donald finds out through the chain, the phone, I don't know, he finds out somehow about the situation, and then from there that's when he's like, okay, Laura has to die. So either Laura calls Donald, or I feel like she would call Priscilla first, because remember, her husband was right there in that particular scene of the trailer. So, like he said, hey, I got to call Priscilla as soon as you wake up or something, because you said Jean, but then you went back out of consciousness. So I think that's probably the situation here, where Somehow Donald finds out about this investigation on the death, and then that's when, you know, Kyle is sent to kill Laura. So that's my thought process on that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.